Welcome to Cookie Jar FX. I am your host, Eric Foreman, and we are on week 10 of our trading journey from $1,000 to $1,000,000. And we are officially in October now. Um, Second month at this point, right? So we are kind of in our second month at this time, 2.5, yeah, 2.5 months, just about if you really calculate the 10 weeks. But all in all, just wanted to give you guys the check in our weekly market analysis, currency pairs that I'm looking at, seeing how we finished out for the week, this last week, with our close, and just how we are progressing forward on gaining back our uh, position size back at 1,000. So if you guys remember from our Wednesday analysis, we were at about I think 908 or something like that, 906 roughly there. But currently we are exactly at 946 at our equity balance. So that's exactly where this mark is at. And if you guys remember from Wednesday, we were ahead of our goals. Like I think our target was really only to get to 814. We ended up breaking all the way down to 910, really 946. So we are actually about a week ahead. So we're gonna fill that up real quick. Set our new targets, right? So we're looking at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So by the end of this upcoming week, we need to pretty much be back in our $1,000 grace, net positive, about $132. But again, so far we've been able to surpass those goals, but it's not about completely trying to surpass them. It's about at least at the bare minimum meeting it. So yeah, just a successful week. And let's kind of review some of the activities that we've gone to. I'm trying to understand why P&L just says down $37. That's not. Oh, then I guess that might make sense. Yeah, close to it, but it should be a little bit like 54. But we'll take it for what it. Oh, it says a 53. I got you. It says withdraw $16, but that's the fees. That's why. But yeah, we are down 53 overall. Um, so yeah, just to backtrack a little bit, AUDCAD had a sell on that. Net positive. We took a loss on a buy position for dollar CAD. I do have dollar CAD as a long, which I'll get into today as it's on my market watch list. But for this particular position, I got in a little too early. Um, so that ended up biting us in the butt. But other than that, the AUDCAD trade is what saved us for this past week and really pushed us forward. A lot of great positions on there, and I couldn't be more happier. Really the only loss from this past week was the dollar CAD. It was a random trade that I got into on Friday, trying to trade it off of the NFP news that occurred. There was no real activity that happened, and I ended up just getting out of the move at $26 of a negative loss. So, yeah, it is what it is. But overall for the week, we still ended up net positive, pretty strong. Um, so we'll look at that real quick, just to kind of backtrack. That's August. We don't want August. We want September. Well, we could go from the 27th to where we are tomorrow, which I think it might not adjust like that. So about 276.52 from closed P&Ls. So not bad, not bad at all. And that's the gradual, consistent push that we've been having. So very happy about that. But let's dig in a little bit, right? So first position I'm looking at is AUDCAD. I got out of the trade, made my money, but I am looking to re-enter, right? So it consolidated for quite a while. Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. I was expecting a bigger move to the downside. Um, we didn't get it, but that flat 50 on the daily is holding aggressively. And again, like I've seen this move a million times. So pull back, retrace about 50%, and then drop. It's a little bit over 50% on the retracement, but um, yeah, it's just sitting right below the 50. So I anticipate a move down. The extension of the MAs count, like I see it as well, coming down at least to the weekly 50 at some point. If it's not going to be there, it's going to be roughly in this. Well, same thing. I thought this whole area was going to be subjected because it's all from there to this area, but it all matches up to the 50. So yeah, we need a little bit more support. If AUDCAD is looking to push up in any further, which will match up roughly to that monthly 20, just about, probably a little higher on my marker. But yeah, it's going to need a little bit more of a pullback before it pushes back up. So I am definitely still anticipating a short on this. I just wish it would have occurred a lot more better at the end of the last week. It didn't. So what I will anticipate at this point is a nice bear 180. I don't expect a bigger move to the upside. The close that we got from Friday is still below the 200. The 200 is declining. The 8 MA is already curled downward. The 50 is still playing catch up. So there's a lot of factors here for me. And as I said, the daily 50 is flat. The 8 and the 20 is already crossed over. Um, so yeah, at this point, I'm still selling on it. So I had took a position on it for the end of the week, closer towards like 2 o'clock or so. I am in positive, but because of the weekend close, they spread the pip out. Um, it's spread the pips. It's a spread of about 20, 30 pips or so. So that's the only reason why I'm currently in a negative, but I am actually, as you can see, net positive from my sell position and the location. So that's that. So we'll see how we start off on the week. I hope it starts off strong and aggressive, and we start working our way downward as anticipated. But yeah, that's Aussie CAD top pick there. And as I said, anticipating we could put anticipate anticipating weekly bear 180 and kind of go from there. Next up is the euro dollar. I am looking at. And again, and I'm not gonna. I'll just speak on all of these pairs: the euro dollar, Aussie dollar, and New Zealand dollar. They are all, with the exception of euro dollar, it's still in the mix of a cone trade. And if you guys know what the cone trade is for me, it's a break of the 8 down to the 20. And until we meet that 20, the cone trade isn't complete. So obviously the target's down here. We still have roughly about another 180 pips available on that. But the chances are is that it'll most likely break that 20 and just use the 200 as support since it's much closer. Plus, again, and I'll remeasure that real quick. Um, the main objective is for this monthly to get a little bit more support, which matches up with the 50, the flat 50 right now. So yeah, we'll see a nice, strong, aggressive move to the downside. For me, once it reaches that area, I will probably be looking for a strong wealth trade from here, to be quite honest. So once it pulls back into this area of the 50 on the euro dollar, just set it and forget it type thing. Um, so hopefully we had an adequate balance so that I can just place a position and just let it ride out for a little while, and then add as necessary. But that will definitely be a long-term trade. But for the time being, there's an opportunity for a solid short. Um, that's well equipped for about 180 to 320 pips or so. So yeah, still very excited about that for a short. And that's that. And then I think New Zealand Aussie dollar was the other trade. So Aussie dollar and Aussie CAD would be very similar. As you can see, the setup is the same. The only difference is that Aussie dollar on the weekly is showing a double scoop. A double scoop is once it breaks the 20, it'll target down to the 50. And although we haven't broken the 20, I will anticipate, similar to Aussie CAD, a bear 180 here. And the reason being, when you look at the monthly, same thing. It needs a little bit more support. It's going to pull back at least to that 20 or allow for that 8 to catch up and shoot up from there. Um, so, yeah, everything is in the mix of it. They look the same if you look at the pairs, but they look identical to each other. So, whatever direction, they're just correlated. The Aussie dollar and Aussie CAD will move in the same direction. Uh, New Zealand dollar, I believe, was on the list, if I'm not mistaken. Just a pullback, same here. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, correlated, same thing. Pullback into the 20 or the 8, used for support. And then a weekly, anticipating just a bearish double scoop, at least down to the 50 on the weekly, bear 180. And that's it. Same setup. Like you see the candlesticks, they all look the same. So this is, although it's not a 3 bar pullback, I'm still considering it a gift play because it pulled back right into the MAs. And as soon as it pulled into that 50 MA, we had a reversal bar of a red candlestick. So plus it's only retraced roughly, as I said, about 50% of the move. And we already pushing downward at this point now. So yeah, I don't know why it keeps doing that, but uh, yeah. So I got a short on New Zealand dollar as well. A very very nice opportunity there. And then quickly looking at dollar Swiss, same thing, but in reverse. Double scoop, bear 180. Um, Extended on a monthly a little bit, right? So we closed out green, bullish on that. So we'll probably get a break at some point above this 8, this monthly 8, pushing upward towards the 20 and the 50 on there. But because of the extension on this move that I called last week, we got a strong break to the upside and then immediately pull back from Friday's move. I mean, from this last week's move. And then I would anticipate a bull 180 on here. So still looking good. I think for at least the early part of the week, just be mindful, and I'll be mindful that any pullbacks are helpful, but there may be a pullback at least to the 50 until this 50 MA flattens out a little bit for more support to be pushed up. So very, very solid opportunity there. Dollar CAD. Only reason why I'm rocking out with Dollar CAD, and I love it, and I actually do want to trade it, um, is because it's a like there's some dollar strength that's showcasing right now, at least into this coming week and maybe for the next few weeks, where U.S. dollar is going to be showing some strong leeway. So I think be mindful. I think last week was just a pullback, just a retracement, just kind of faking a lot of traders out that anticipated a serious move back to in a different direction. But I'm not buying into it. It's not pulling back and then going to start selling short on here. There is some dollar strength right now. So I would definitely be pushing for dollar CAD for an upside. So that was the reason why I had got into the trade. I just got in a little too late. And as you can see, it did push up a little bit, but then it pulled back down. And I'm just glad I got out of the move because it consolidated and just all of this nastiness from Friday. So yeah, just a pointless activity. I want to see moves like this, like just a solid sequence. But this is not worth trading. So I got out with my little loss, but better safe than sorry. But yeah, I'll let it do its thing. Really pay attention to it this week. But since I'm already in Aussie CAD, I'll just be mindful of how I want to play dollar CAD. Uh, next pair is Pound Aussie. This is the last pair out of my pick. I've been watching Pound Aussie since last week. Really, really wanting this move. Um, it didn't really do much off of last week. Just kind of consolidated in place. Just kind of this back and forth whiplash. Oh, I'm looking at Pound New Zealand. Sorry. Um, yeah. So same thing though. Like a little bit of the back and forth whiplash. So we kind of finished off with a range bar, just kind of normal range bar, but definitely red. But I just I've been trading for so long at this point, roughly 10 years, almost a decade at this time. But like really looking at this move, it it's just common sense. It's a textbook play that is going up to at least a 50. So this pullback from last week for me was pretty solid. Um, I enjoyed that, and it's coming right off of the 200. It's not like it broke it. So the idea of this going further down doesn't make sense. This red candlestick isn't an an igniting bar; it's an exhaustion bar after the drop, um, which means that the move is definitely exhausted and it's starting to reverse. So I do like this still for a number of pips going up to the 50 at the bare minimum. And then just the way the setup is, the design of the setup showcases and tells me that we are still going to the upside. So definitely keeping that in mind. I don't like the way the daily looks because it makes it a little bit more difficult, but we did get a nice little bull 180 from Friday's close. Let me open this up. From Friday's close, a nice bull 180 here. It's just sloppy here for the past few days, but nonetheless, it's still an opportunity to the upside. So I had it on my list last week for a long that I quickly noted on my sticky note. I don't think it was one of my trade picks, but it was definitely one of my sticky notes. But I still love this pair right here for that long upside to the 50 on a weekly. But that is it at this moment. Um, Definitely looking forward to it's a lot of pairs and a lot of opportunities this week. If anything shifts and change, like AUDCAD caught me off guard in the middle of the week. If you guys remember, I didn't have that on my market watch list last week on Sunday. There was nothing immediately presented early on. But then I saw an opportunity that I just couldn't pass up on, and I had to take advantage of it. So I did what I needed to do, and got the opportunity and made the trade. But yeah, it wasn't there early on for me. So I'm just glad I was able to do that. So I think yeah, I keep an eye out for whatever's on my market watch list, but I'm not stuck to it. And then also because there's a wide variety of options, I don't trade all of them. That's another thing. So just really, really being mindful of how to set it, um, and play around with the market. So we'll see. We'll see what I do this week. Aussie Cat I loved. I'm definitely going to be rocking out with that. But again, there's some other great opportunities, but I'm not going to cut out on Aussie Cat. I still have about 381 of free margin. So if I do see another opportunity like Dollar Cat or something like that, that I might want to snatch up, then maybe I'll take it. But Pound Aussie is pretty much the highlight for me out of all of these picks that I really would want. But other than that, guys, thank you for joining. Hit that subscribe button. As always, make sure you follow. Um, Hit that like button if you enjoyed. Share it with a friend, family member, or a fellow trader. Somebody that might be in dire need of some good market review, and just providing some insight. Like I do it for myself. I share it with you guys. You don't have to significantly analyze and review the charts the same way, but it's just some insight and some pairs to possibly look at. Um, yeah, and leave a comment. Write a questions, anything that you guys may have. I'll definitely follow up and follow through. But I look forward to this trading week. And I'll talk to you guys on Wednesday. Have a good one, y'all.